You will like to give us a little bit of advice on what I think is one of the most important areas on the golf course?
My pleasure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. So the first thing I do is any type of situation looking at is if you go back, I'm a big believer in routine. Are you going to hit a high shot or are you going to hit a low shot? So with this blue foam piece there, the first thing we're going to look at is hitting a lower shot. So hitting a lower shot, as I stand this way, one of the first things we're going to look at is ball position. The ball position is going to be a little bit back towards your back foot, a little more weight on your forward foot, and we're going to feel like that shaft is leaning a little bit forward. This is going to help us deal off that golf club to produce a lower trajectory shot. So from this point, the ball's back in our stance, weight a little bit forward, my hands are forward, and we're going to make a little bit of a putting stroke back and through and see if we can roll that ball down to the hole. Not bad. There we go. But a big tip here is making sure when you're going to hit a low trajectory shot, and this is what I do with my students here, is I'll put a little aid out here to make sure that they hit it below it. Way too many times you're going to hit a chip shot. They have the ball position maybe too far forward. They're going to hit up, and as soon as you try to hit up on it, more times you're going to hit up in the air or you're going to blade it. So when I put a little device here and I start asking them just hit it below it, more of their natural ability comes out and they start figuring it out by themselves, which is, I think, a big key is when you start to understand what it takes for yourself to hit the ball a little bit lower, you then own it. And when you own it, you can reproduce this on the golf course.
It's still difficult. Let's say your player is standing over the ball and say, how can I make perfect contact with the ball that you did? How can we help that player?
Well, once again, when we kind of get you set up a little bit with a little bit weight forward on your forward foot, as you start going back, your shoulders and your arms are going to swing back and through, almost like you're putting. This is a little bit of motion going back and through, and with the weight forward, you should have a little bit of a descending blow on it where you're going to make good contact with the ball and then the turf. With these chip shots, we're going to try to use a little bit of this leading edge where that leading edge hits the ball and the ground, and that should produce some pretty good contact for you. And if it doesn't, I would say find your local PGA golf professional and ask for some help.
This worked out very well. And,
okay.
and I say if you get, let's say we were a couple meters closer, you would use a putter, right?
Yeah, I always use some of the analogy of whenever you can putt, putt. When you can no longer putt, chip. When you can no longer chip, pitch the golf ball. Most times, you're going to produce a much better shot that way.
Now if we have missed the hole a little bit further
A little further back?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to change golf clubs. We're going to go to a more lofted golf club. Here I've grabbed a 56. And same thing with my students now, is we're going to change our visual. And I'm also a very big believer in when you're helping students or if you're going to come out and practice, using some aids to kind of help you visualize what you're doing. When you stand behind a shot and you start to visualize a low shot, a high shot, it helps when there's something there in front of you to visualize that. So now with hitting a higher shot, where we hit a low shot with the ball back, now we're going to move this ball position more up towards your forward foot. And now with this shaft, instead of leaning that shaft so far forward, we're going to feel like that shaft is more up and down. When we have that shaft vertical, we're going to use maximum loft. If you lean that shaft forward, you de-loft that golf club. If you de-loft it, you're going to hit the ball lower. And here we're still having a little bit of weight towards our forward foot. So if I set up to this shot, a little more forward, pitch that ball a little more up in the air, not too bad of a golf shot there. And when that shaft is leaning or straight up and down, it also allows us to use more of the bounce and the flange where we don't want to use so much of the leading edge. The mistake I see with a lot of amateurs, they're trying to pitch the ball up in the air, the ball's back, the hands are forward, and when you hit down, you're using the leading edge, and that's where you end up seeing that shot where you stick it right in the ground. And if you don't stick it in the ground, then it's that flip with the hands to try to then get the ball up in the air. So once again, we're going to have that ball more forward in our stance, have that shaft more up and down. Even tilting back is okay a little bit. That's just going to help this golf ball get more up in the air. Not too bad.
That's for me, that's an up and in recipe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, a big part of it is understanding how to use the golf club correctly. When you're chipping and hitting a low trajectory shot, you're using the front edge, the leading edge. And when you're hitting a high lofted shot, you're using more of the bounce in the flange of the golf club. Way too many times that person ends up holding the golf club this direction and they're using the golf club incorrectly. And if you're setting up incorrectly, the odds of you hitting a good shot are slim.
Sure.
So we're really going to try to put you in a good position to have success before you hit that shot. And if that doesn't work for you, get on a plane and come to Florida and we'll help you. How's
Tranquilo.
that? At Tranquilo Golf Club, yes. We'll both be here to help you. A little private one-on-one.
Yeah, we'll love that.
Perfect.
Thanks, Rod.
Thank you
so much.
Happy golfing.